and this is a long thing. This is the one for the parents. This is in 7 different languages, readily available. Okay, going through. And we also have a coloring book that's been translated into 3 different languages. I like this one. I can't stay inside the lines, but I still like the coloring book. Okay? So there's a lot of stuff that's being translated already. We made it into different languages, and it can actually be used. But once again, where can we get it from? You can get it, we'll tell you that at the end, but you can get it off our website. You can get it off the Hockey Center, which you'll be invited to. You'll learn more about the Hockey Center tomorrow. Okay? And a lot of the federations have stuff like this. A lot of nations have already adapted their own things and using their own stuff. The education program, it just basically shows you how to run these things. We have the recruitment program manual, which explains about recruitment, why and how you run things. We have 4 operations manuals, which includes a girls' hockey day or a stroke experience hockey day as in today. We also have people that can go in and actually help you and show this. Or our Learn to Play program, we've included this onto our program, the recruitment program, not the whole thing that you're seeing here, but part of it, just to bring people in. There's parents' information programs, and then we have presentations that support everything that we've got here. So, why do players play? Quite simply, they want to have fun. No matter how much mom thinks they want to win, go into the Stanley Cup and play in the NHL, most children just want to have fun with anything they do. The 4 other things are excellence, being able to do something and do something well. Affiliation, where they're with friends and they can stay with friends. So I'll tell you what affiliation is. We started out development camp on Sunday where these teams got together and nobody knew each other and most couldn't talk to each other because they didn't speak the same language. And today, all 4 of the Finnish girls on the hockey development camp were asked, did you want to go into Helsinki or did you want to help on the girls' hockey day? 2 stayed. The other 2 went to Helsinki because they wanted to be with these new friends that they have, which is cool. That's exactly what this is about. All right? So that's the affiliation that you get in the sport. Sensation and success. We have to remember that, as you know, I don't think I have to tell you, in women's hockey, what are they playing for? They're not playing for the money. They're playing to be the best they can and to stay the best they can for as long as they can. But once something else comes on, or once they don't feel these things, that's when they start to leave the sport. That's an important thing. We know from the refereeing side that after every Olympic cycle, we lose almost 2/3 of our referees that were in the Olympics. Because they made it to the pinnacle. They made it to the top. There's something that has to keep driving them and has to keep them in the sport. We have to come up with something to first get them there and keep them there. And that's an important thing from our side of things that we have to work on. But ultimately, who decides? Up until 12 years old, the child decides if they want to play or not, but it isn't them who make the final decision. We designed this program to be attractive to the parent, to the children, but to intellectually directed at the parents so they understand. Because talk to anybody who doesn't know about hockey. What will they tell you? I don't want my kid to get beat up. I don't want to have another broken nose and lose all his teeth. And it's the truth. Sorry, we looked into this. But you know what? More people get hurt, percentage-wise, on skateboards than they do playing hockey. I'm sure you're not surprised by that. I wasn't. But the people who are outside those doors, they don't know that. I live in Zurich. I'm lucky to live in Zurich, where there's a person there. She moved in across the road, and I had a little boy, and we met him one day. They said, oh, and they were from Germany. I said, so is he going to start playing hockey? Oh, no, it's such a dangerous sport. Oh, really? And so we were talking, oh, no, terrible. Okay, come play. And then we said, oh, I see your husband up there. What happened to his wrist? Oh, he broke it playing American football. Okay. So what is it? It's not me, I don't think. It's just the reputation somehow we've got. And that's something we have to fight. We have to fight against all the time. And ultimately, and I was told this by somebody, and it's very true, it's the mother who has the final say. Does my child, especially when it comes to women's hockey, can he play? And you have to deal with them intellectually, why it's a good idea and why it's safe. It's a safe sport. And let's face it, it is a safe sport. All the hockey, up until the age of 14 years old, for most countries, don't have aggressive, we don't have checking, so the chance of being hurt by getting checked isn't there. Women's hockey, we don't have it at all. They wear good equipment and full face cages. So the chances of getting the injuries that you're talking about aren't there. And fighting is completely discouraged. Okay? It's against the law. It's against the rules. They need to be told those type of things. Unfortunately, we're involved in a sport that is part of our game, but it's not a part of the game at the levels that we usually coach at or play at. Whoa, sorry. The one I like here is the top one, especially for girls. It's a mainstream sport for children, especially for girls. A lot of people don't even realize it's an option in some countries. Anywhere. To me, my daughter can play hockey. To me, my son. To me, we got a hockey rink here. We got an ice rink. A lot of countries, it's like that. We're in Mannheim for the World Championships 2 years ago. We're in Mannheim. Well, Mannheim where the tournament was. We were in Heidelberg, which is over this side. The other side of Mannheim, people didn't even know the World Championships were going on. We have a real bad disease in Europe. It's called football. That's what kills a lot of our hockey development, or people want to play hockey. So the thing is, we have to let people know it's an option for their youngsters to go there, especially for the girls to get a chance to go. Have an option and a chance for them to actually go and play. When we were in Eindhoven, we experimented with one of these days, and what we had is we had a bring a friend day. Do you know what happened? It was amazing. We had a learn to play session first with 40 kids on the ice, and then after that we had the beginners recruitment group, and there's 36 kids on the ice. One kid had brought 6 kids with him. Amazing. I'm just like, this really works, you know. If a child goes, I play ice hockey, and I'd you like to come and play? Hey, you get a free hot dog afterwards. Fantastic. And they come. They brought them to the game. Word of mouth works so well in these programs. And things that'll give them an opportunity to show up. Give them a chance to play the game. That's what all today was about outside. Give them a chance to learn some of the skills and just do some of the fun things. I noticed the skating part wasn't one of the ones that anybody was too interested in doing, but I noticed the shooting was. This is the fun part of the game. Give them an opportunity to actually do that before they go on. Give them an opportunity when they get there to actually play the game. That's what our Learn to Play program is about. But it's an opportunity to play and be involved in the sport and get to actually feel what the sport is. There's a guy, I saw this statement from USA Hockey where they say something, we have the best sport in the world. We just got to get them there. Once they get on the ice, they're hooked. This is a big one for most nations, the minimal cost. Try to keep the cost down, especially in the beginning stages. The next part, of course, is getting them committed, getting them involved in the sport, and letting them know what the opportunities are. Balance. The best defense is a good offense. If you've got the puck, they can't score. The best offense is a good defense. If you can hold on and stop them from scoring, then you don't have to score so many. But you have to have balance. When does defense begin? While you're still on offense. Coaching stuff. Or it used to be anyway. Biceps, triceps. I don't have either anymore. But one pulls, one pushes. One pulls in, one pushes out. Opposites. Right? So, guess what? reaction has an equal and opposite reaction? The best way to increase your numbers is to keep the ones you've already got. Retention. You know, I remember like 15 years ago, I heard that it was Finland had lost 26,000 players that summer. They just didn't come back. They were lucky they picked up 29,000. That doesn't happen anymore. It's better to keep them and go. And this is where the United States, more than anybody, have started to pick up their numbers. They've started to find out and go after the people who are thinking about leaving the sport, bringing them back the next year. All these next numbers are all from the United States. And what they discovered up until a year ago, a year and a half ago. So you get a player in at 6 or 7 years old, almost half of them don't make it to the age of 10. 54% of the girls don't make it that far. And then only 30% make it one season and then leave. So those are pretty discouraging figures. And they went after and they came up with some plans. Of course, make sure it's fun. One of the things they did is they contacted people and asked them why. What's the matter? Was there a problem? You know, that way. Well, and then they might be able to answer those questions to bring them back. They also had a plan where, I'm just trying to think what players there was. There was Zach Parisi, Tim Thomas, and somebody else. There's 3 or 4 players. Actually, there's some of the female players too. I think Angela Reggiero, as you can tell, my pronunciation isn't great. She made one too. And they send them a telephone message where they picked it up, and here's this person saying, I hear you haven't really come back this year. Why don't you come back? It'd be really great to have you back and play hockey. They did it in every single way to try and bring people back to the game. One of the other things, of course, is right in the middle there, as we try and hide it, educate the parents. Let them know what you're trying to do, why you're doing some of these things. Because sometimes as hockey people, we make the assumption they already know. And a lot of times, they don't. We think, oh yeah, they know what they're doing. I'll give you a simple one. I'm helping out the hockey school with ZSA, Zurich. And we're helping out, and I'm watching this little guy, and he keeps trying to do macarons for the Finnish people. Just do half movements like this. And he keeps falling over. Wait a second. What's your name? He told me, my name's Luca. I said, okay, fantastic. He said, is your dad here? Because his English wasn't very good. My German's non-existent. But he said yes. So I took him over to the boards. He was looking. And of course, you don't have to worry if his dad's there. By the time you get to the boards, he's already there. I said, hi, do you speak English? He goes, yes. Luca's got a little problem. He says, oh, what is it? He says, his skates are on the wrong feet. And what it was is, a big company in Switzerland is Graf, as we know. You know the yellow triangle? They were on the inside. That's how I figured it. I wouldn't have figured it out either. But I just thought, okay, no, but every week after that, I had the parent come to me and say, Lucas skates on the right feet, he's cool this week. Great, fantastic. But it's things like that. We expect them to know how to put equipment on. We expect them to know these things. They don't. We expect them to just, how many times have you had a player come to you and says, how many times have you had a coach come to you and say, my players, they don't do what I want them to do when they leave the bench. I've had that one a couple of times. I think real hard about my answer, and then I kind of say to them, you ever thought about, did you ever tell them what you want them to do when they leave? No. Well, not many hockey players I know are mind readers. Just like their parents aren't mind readers neither. Tell them why you're doing things, what you're doing, what the next stage could be. They don't have to know everything, but it's good if they got a little bit of information that they can see, oh, we're doing this because we're going to do that. If they don't like it, they can move on. So that's a couple of other things for retention. What you've just seen today is the girls' hockey day. Finland, basically the way it works is this. What you've seen, set it up. We have a manual that explains this. Actually, explains both of them, the experience and the girls' hockey day. And Mima, Johanna Pelkonen, who runs the program for Finland,